Welcome back. Let's talk business now. Mobile service provider Safaricom is seeking key amendments to the Finance Bill 2023 ahead of its expected splitting of its mobile money service Mpesa from its core mobile business. In its public submissions to the Parliamentary Finance and National Planning Committee, Safaricom is also seeking to retain excise duty on mobile money transfer at 12%, after the bill proposed to raise the duty to 15%. Jasmine Murani with the details.
The ongoing public participation on the Finance Bill 2023 continued to reveal more loopholes that could have dire consequences on different sectors of the economy. The telecommunications sector is set to undergo a transformational shift in earnings, with a mandatory split of mobile money transfer services from voice and internet services. It is on this anticipated split that the market leader Safaricom is seeking tax reprieve. Safaricom, whose petition before the Finance and National Planning Committee was presented by audit firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, argues that the split will force it to create a new company to run Mpesa, with a new entity taking with it both financial and physical assets, which will incur a 30% income tax. This, Safaricom argues, will disadvantage both the new firm and its shareholders.
This transfer has not been occasioned by Safaricom. It has actually been occasioned by regulatory pressure by Central Bank of Kenya. These two companies will ultimately be owned by the same shareholders. So our prayer is for this transfer of assets, as the transfer of assets is happening, then this should be at a tax neutral position so that we do not have tax being an hindrance to the regulatory requirement by the Central Bank of Kenya.
Safaricom further argues that once the split happens, the subsidiary company and other similar service providers will be at a competitive disadvantage, with users set to incur higher transaction costs. The financial bill is proposing to harmonize excise duty on money transfer by lowering the duty on bank transactions from 20% to 15% and raising duty on mobile money transfers from 12% to 15%. PwC says this increase could be detrimental to the newly formed mobile money service operators, further arguing that the service should be ring-fenced from higher charges, as mobile money is an enabler of financial inclusion for low-income earners.
This class of individuals who are then supposed to be served by this special rate are then going to pay more in excise duty. And we're then saying to consider that there is a ring fencing of this entity and similar type entities which by regulations are then required to then provide this money transfer outside the ambit of the cell phone service provider, such that the rate there remains at 12% that is currently provided for in the legislation. If anything, we would have been expecting a reduction in that rate, similar to the reduction that we've seen from the 20% to the 15% for the other categories of money transfer services.
Beyond this, Safaricom has raised concerns on the taxation of the key enabling devices that facilitate service delivery. This includes SIM cards and mobile phones, which will incur excise duty, which is a consumption tax. Consumption tax, according to PwC, are taxes meant to encourage local production, yet none of these are produced locally.
If you then apply the rationale that we're trying to protect a local industry, we are only able, as a country, provide 5% of the SIM cards that are needed by our market in the telco space. So again, you then miss the point if this was introduced to then protect the local industry.
The Committee on Finance and National Planning will continue to hear the views of the different stakeholders before making its submissions and recommendations to the Budget and Appropriations Committee. The question, however, remains whether or not the views aired by both companies and individuals will be considered in the final budget come 15th June.